Welcome back to the Garza Gaming Channel. Today we're playing Shiva. A very first look at Shiva against Easy Bots. So we're in the PTS server today. He finally went live yesterday. Now he's not live in game, but he will be. So we're going to get a very good look at him today. Now don't worry about the build and don't worry about anything about kills or anything like that, right? Today is going to be all about checking out his various different mechanics and getting a small feel for him before he goes live, before we can really dig in deep and see how he's going to do against real players. Again, we're going to be playing against medium boss, but before we go into medium boss, we're going to talk about his various different attacks, right? So hey man, is this guy going to be good or is he going to be a dud? I don't know, but we're about to find out. Let's get into it. Okay, so before we get into any arena action, let's talk about Shiva's attacks, right? So he has a passive. So he gives HP 5 and MP 5 to allies or debuffs the enemy depending on whether his aurora is in bliss or destruction, right? And you're going to see in the bottom left-hand corner this little dial that fills up. And every time he attacks, whether it be basic attacks to the minions or gods or using his abilities, those little things start ticking around, right? And depending on what side of the coin or what side of the dial the ticker is, that's going to determine whether he's in bliss form or in destruction form. Now, you have no control over that other than being able to connect with your attacks and abilities, right? So let's go to his first attack, his number one, Emblazoned Sweep. So Shiva's trident is emblazed with the fire of agony, right? And as he spins around, it deals damage and it pulls guys in almost like a Susano type attack, right? And then it leaves around like a little fire ring around him. Now, if he's in bliss mode, that fire ring, what it's going to do is give your movement speed buff to your allies that passes through the fire. Now, if you're in destruction mode, what that's going to end up doing is debuffing the enemy. Now, the spin itself, late game, does 285 damage plus 60% of your attack power. The fire damage from the ring, or the ticks from the ring, does 50 plus 10% of your physical item power or physical attack power. And then the buff that your allies get if you are in bliss when you do it is a 20% movement speed buff for 3 seconds, and the protection debuff if you're in destruction mode, that if the enemy walks that fire, it's a late game minus 20 for 3 seconds. So that's pretty cool, man. That's definitely pretty cool. Now his number two, Damaru's Tempo. Damaru's Tempo. So it's a cone type attack, right? So Shiva hits his the butt of his trident down on the ground, shaking the Damaru drum, causing energy to dissipate and damage enemies, right? So depending on the selection of the enemies in the chosen segment are also knocked up as well. And what that means is it has a cone type of attack, right? It's going to have 3 little stages on it. And you got to move your mouse up and down or controller up and down depending on your console PC, right? And it's going to fill up. You can see like a little fill of the section. So if you catch the enemy in that filled section, not only are you going to get the damage from the cone attack and the buff or the debuff of the cone attack, but if you land the enemy on that highlighted portion, it's going to do a knock-up effect, right? So the damage late game is 300 plus 65% of your magic item or their physical power, right? And then the attack speed buff is going to be 25% for any of your allies that are in that cone. And then the attack speed debuff, if the enemy's in that cone, is going to be 25%. Of course, it's the same thing. If you're in bliss, you give your allies the attack buff. If you're in destruction, you give the enemies the debuff. So it's going to be very important that you pay attention on whether you're in bliss or destruction, so you don't accidentally think you're doing one attack. In reality, you're doing a different attack that's going to not help you in any way, right? So his number 3, Pillar of Dawn. So Shiva dashes into a pillar of fire where he meditates for a short duration, taking reduced CC and damage before being able to dash out again Right, each dash deals damage to enemies, and his meditative pillar does like an aurora tick effect, right? So if he's in bliss when he does this, allies there in the aurora gain a block stack, while Shiva gains up to 3 after he leaves his pillar. Now, if he's in destruction mode, enemies will take or suffer a constant damage or a tick, right? So the damage of going through somebody when you do this attack late game is 185 by 30% of your physical power. The Aurora itself does 23 plus 4% of your physical power a tick for every a quarter of a second. And then the damage mitigation you get while you're in the middle of that meditating is actually 40% mitigation. So that's pretty cool, man. That's definitely, it's almost like doing a Nox, right? But instead of dashing into an ally, you're dashing into that meditation and then you're dashing back out again. Or a churn bog where he goes into the, does damage going into the wall, and then when he pops out, he does damage again coming out. So that could be a very nice attack to set up for some really sneaky plays. And then he has his Shiva tandava. Well, anyways, his alt, right? And Shiva performs that tandava channeling for for 6 seconds with CC immunity and 20% damage mitigation. So every 1.5 seconds, he performs a step of this dance that can be pre-selected. Now, if you just hit the actual alt, you're going to be in the healing stance. So it's going to be pulsing. So every 1.5 seconds it's going to pulse. At 1.5 seconds it's going to pulse. So that's going to give you time where you're going to have to physically select 1 through 4 or 1 through 3, I should say, on what attack do you want to do. Do you want to do your healing, which is your number 1? You're going to want to do your magnification, 50% more, damage and healing. We did number 2. Are you going to do the damage dot, which is 120 late game 325 plus 50% of your physical item power, right? So you're going to have to select 1 through 3. Now keep in mind that if you don't select anything or you leave it on 1 without selecting anything else, it's going to stay on that one attack and keep pulsing that same one attack, right? You don't have to keep clicking it again unless you want to change the stance. But yeah, man, those are pretty much his attacks in a nutshell. Now that we've described them, hey man, let's see them live. Okay, so here we go with Shiva. But if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on those notifications. We tend to put out videos every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but sometimes we throw out videos throughout the week or stream throughout the week, so make sure you have those notifications turned on so you get notified if we do. Hey, and if you're new to our channel, don't forget we have over 400 videos just like this one, our YouTube video library. I put a link to that and a link to our streaming library in the description of any of our videos and our website, GarzaGaming.com. And you're tired of playing with all these random people, man, come join us in our Discord. We have awesome people from all around the world playing daily on our Discord. I also put an invite to that description of any of our videos and our website, GarzaGaming.com. And don't forget, we're now live on Twitch and Facebook Gaming under Garza Gaming channel. Okay, so here we go with a first look at arena gameplay of Shiva against medium bots. That's right, we're going against medium bots. I tried going against harder bots to give me more of a challenge, but harder doesn't really mean that the opposite team is harder in this game. It just means that your team is that much dumber, to tell you the truth. So I think medium is pretty much a good medium, right? Of between not too easy but not too difficult, because your team is just feeding all day. But it doesn't matter. Don't worry about any type of damage. Don't worry about any type of a build. Right now we just want to show off the various different attacks and his mechanics, right? So as you saw, his number 1 laid down that ring. His number 2, this is what we're talking about, the selection. This is at point blank, medium range, and long range. Now you'll always get the actual damage of anything that's in that cone, and you'll get the benefit. See how right now he's in bliss form because he's in the dark blue. Once that dial goes into the other color, then it's going to go into destruction mode. And then right here you got this. Now this is his little dash. He sits there for a little second and then rolls out. So I'm in destruction mode, so all that did is slowed him down, point blank range, got the knock up. Done deal. See, right now I'm in bliss form, so that's not going to do anything right there. Nobody's getting any type of a damage or nothing. Now if I would have been in destruction mode, it would have gave that tick. So now I'm in destruction mode, so it's just a debuff. See how he had that little tick? So this is his alt. 3 is his destruction mode or damage mode. 1 is a heal. Now I'm not too overwhelmed with his ult. I actually think the ticks are way too slow, and they need to be buffed, to tell you the truth. But we'll see what happens. Maybe, you know, high res will do that. But right now, I think that they are a bit slow for my taste. Okay, I'm in bliss mode, so they're getting stacks. Knock up. Destruction, so it's a debuff. Knock up. Debuff. Bliss, run the movement. Running. So he's 505 right now. She's trying to chase me down. She couldn't catch me. And we got the knockup. Now keep in mind that that number 2 works like a kind of Cezanne type attack where you're going to get that draw in, that suction in, right? Help our guys here. Alright, good deals. You saw how I was doing that tick attack, right? I can tell you that when I do start making a build, and I kind of got a build for this one I've been messing with this morning, but once it goes live, I'm definitely going to recommend some defenses with this guy, because he's going to be a sitting duck. People are going to be focusing the crap out of this god, especially on day 1. So keep that in mind. You're probably going to want to add some defenses in for sure. Okay, now like what I was saying before, this attack right here will go through walls. The ring obviously can go through walls because half the ring will go through walls, but his escape will not. So see how he's meditating? It won't go through a wall. So keep that in mind. You can't go under walls. All right. But thus far, I mean, he doesn't seem that bad. We're gonna have to see how he works with real people, right? Not just bots. But I can see where he can have some pretty nice attacks actually. But the ticks are just way too slow, dude. Now I like his number 3, the fact that he has some sort of a escape, right? And that's kind of one of his. Oh, somebody's. You can help her peep out. Uh-oh, she's after me, ain't she? But I was in bliss form, so I got that speed buff. And that's the thing what I was saying. You got to pay attention what bliss if you're in bliss or destruction, or you might not get the wanted attack or the wanted effect that you're hoping for, right? So that's going to be at a little bit more, one more layer of difficulty when playing this god, for sure. Trying to keep up with, you know, if you're in actual bliss or destruction. Alright, so much for that. Alright, I was in destruction mode, unfortunately. Alright. Yeah, I was in bliss form, but they're still chasing me down, boy. I'm still in bliss form. See ya. Very nice attacks. I mean, escapes. Alright, that's a debuff. So we're going to have to be careful because we're getting double teamed. We're in bliss mode now. We can haul butt. All right, good deal, good deal. But that's pretty much it. You know, you get that knock up. You go if you're in bliss form, you get that speed, or you get the debuff.
To the death.
I can't tell if I'm in destruction or bliss, to tell you the truth. Oh well. Okay, I'm in destruction. Yeah, that was weird. It was almost like it was in the middle.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Double kill. Killing spree.
See how the picks are a little slow for my taste.
Hit me.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Alright, I was not in bliss form, but it's alright. I had enough XP to get the heck out of dodge.
An enemy has been slain.
Good deal. But that's pretty much it, man. It's going to be a matter of pretty much determining if you're in bliss mode or keeping an eye if you're in bliss mode or an actual destruction mode.
Slain an enemy. An enemy has been slain.
Nice, nice, nice.
Power comes from
I can tell you that there are some combos to this. I've been seeing that a 2-1 combo works really well. 2-1-3 combo works really well. Like I said, his ult is very underwhelming to me, to tell you the truth.
An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain.
It's not as bad as I thought thus far. He's not as difficult I thought as he was going to be able to, you know, he's going to be in arena. But he is going to take some practice for sure, especially with this attack here, man. Because that thing, with all the craziness that happens in CC, that's going to be very hard to really pull off, you know, about 25% of the time, I think. Unless you, like, pre-do it like that or something.
Damaru's beat.
An ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy. An ally has been slain.
When we saw the reveal, he just made him look so freaking complicated. But he's not that complicated, to tell you the truth, man. It's one of those, you go in with your knock up, go with the number 2, bring him in, you know, and just have your team just wail on him, really. He's definitely going to be somebody that is going to be a support type element for sure to your people.
An ally has been slain.
Almost like a real game.
An enemy has been slain.
But that's it, man. That's Shiva, man. As you saw, I mean, all this, don't worry about how much damage, how many kills. It has nothing to do with it. You saw the mechanics of it. You saw that the Shiva is not as difficult as they made him out to be in the reveal. Now, of course, we'll see what happens against real players, right? But I can tell you that just by playing against these bots, that he is going to need some type of defense, man. He's going to need some kind of counter CC type element. But the cool part about him is that he does do pretty good damage. I mean, look at this. We came out with what? 175 physical item power, which doesn't seem a lot, but I mean, we were still able to do some damage. You know what I'm saying? But he is going to need some defenses. He's definitely going to need some defenses. But we'll have a build for him. We'll definitely have a build. In fact, I already have a build in mind, so we're going to see how it's going to work out live once it goes live. But yeah, that is Shiva, man. So what do you think? Do you think he's going to be a lot easier to play now that you saw him, live? I think he is. I tell you what, he felt actually kind of good. As you know, I do not like playing melee type characters. characters, and this guy is no different. He's definitely not my favorite god in the world, but I think I'll be able to play him all right. But again, man, if you're new to the channel, don't forget hit that subscribe button. We're still trying to get to that 10,000 subs by the end of the year. Again, as soon as Shiva goes live, we will have a build for him, and I'll do another video covering the first Shiva build. Okay, so hey, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'm Garza, your OG on the GC. See you next time.